Good morning, everyone. We are continuing here in the words of the Horowitz in the Sefer HaMitzvos HaKotzar. Today is Mitzvahs Loisase, the negative commandment, Ayin Tes 79. Loisase Shalo Yavayesh Es Chaveru. There is a negative commandment that you are not allowed to shame. And you're not allowed to shame and to embarrass your friend. Shenema, like it says, V'loisisa alav chet. It says in the Torah, Loisisa alav chet, do not bear a burden, do not bear a sin upon you. Meaning, if you embarrass another person, you rebuke another person in a way that is inappropriate, and you shame them, so that would mean you are bearing the sin yourself for doing such a thing. The kol shekein berabim, that verse is talking about even if you did it in private and you just shamed him between you and him, you made the guy feel bad for what he does. Could you imagine, says the Gemara, what if you did it berabim, if you did it publicly? How much worse it is. V'avan gadol is a terrible sin. V'amru Chazal, our sages teach us, hamal bin b'nei chaver berabim, somebody who shames his fellow Jew berabim in public. Malbin really means you make his face turn white. You shamed him, you embarrassed him. He loses all the color in his face and he turns white. Ein loy chelik loy lam haba, the person who embarrassed and shamed him publicly has no portion waiting for him in the world to come to destroy. It's like you killed the person. When the red and the color leaves the person's face and his heart starts pattering as fast as it could, and his stomach is churning, and he's shamed and he's embarrassed beyond belief in front of other people, it's ke'ilu, it's as if you killed this person, and therefore ein lo chelik lo olam haba, you have no portion in the world to come. Lefikach, therefore yizahir, be very careful. Shelo levayish katan v'gadol, do not embarrass a child nor an adult. And this is very important. Parents often feel that it's permissible to embarrass their children in public. I can reprimand them, I can discipline them, I can call them the names I want to call them, I can spank them and smack them around in front of other people, I can make fun of them. No, chalila v'chas. That's called malbin p'nei chaver berabim, that is called shaming and embarrassing your fellow Jew in public. And for a child, it is devastating. If I once gave a shiur, and in the shiur I told over a story about one of my children, and I even mentioned which child it was. And it wasn't a terrible story, it was a story that kids do. And my son ended up hearing the shiur, somehow would hear the recording, and he came to me after and said, Tati, you said over my name in the shiur. You embarrassed me in front of everybody that was there. And Taki, he's right. A parent doesn't have the right to go and give over embarrassing actions towards even their child who's under the age of bar mitzvah. You shouldn't call anybody an embarrassing nickname. The guy's a short fellow, you call him Shorty. You can't do such a thing. The guy is 400 pounds overweight. You call him an elephant. No, you can't do such things. If you want to call somebody by a name that's not their name, you have a nickname that's for them, it should be a nickname that's going to be something that is not going to embarrass them. This all has to do with matters between Adam l'chaver, between man and his fellow man. When you see the person not acting the right way in the worldly matters down here. Aval, however, b'mili d'shemaya, if a person sinned through something between him and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, let's say, he didn't put on tefillin today, doesn't say brachas on his food, he's a mechal Shabbos, or whatever it is that he might do. Im lo chazer, boy, if you come to him privately and you give him rebuke, say, listen, buddy, you know that there's a law on Shabbos, you're not allowed to turn on the lights. You know that there's such a thing called kosher food. You can't go to McDonald's and get yourself a Big Mac. You have to go down to the kosher market down the street and get yourself kosher food. And you rebuke him privately, and you do it in the right way. And you're not trying to embarrass and shame. You're just trying to get him to do the right thing. So if he doesn't repent and he doesn't return to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as a result, machlimin oisai berabim, then you are allowed to embarrass him in a public way. And and you can let the public know about the sins that this particular person is doing until he ends up doing tshuva and returns to the right way. Once again, I think that it must be taken with a grain of salt in our generation. There are many, many causative effects and reasons why it is that people end up abandoning pathways of mitzvahs, or they end up falling into the trap of averas. It's not so simple to stand up in public and say, I know that this man over here ended up eating a treif hamburger. It's not so simple, and therefore a person should err on the side of caution and not publicly disgrace other people. Still, we should try to encourage them and try to get them to do the right thing, but how careful we have to be to make sure that we don't shame them. This is something we keep everywhere all the time, with men and with women. Have a wonderful day.